Yo, what's good, boys? We are back at it again with another MLB The Show 25 video for you guys, and today we are going to be updating the best captains in the game, the best theme teams you could be running, just kind of showing you guys what some of these cards look like on some of the better theme teams in the game. So if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, all that. As many of you know, second time doing this video, so always fun. All right, so let's hop into it. It's not dilly-dally too much. I do want to have a little rant real quick about captains in general. If a team does not fit this description, they're just basically ineligible. There is one exception on this list, but it's because that team just has so many just outstanding players that it doesn't matter. But you pretty much have to have gotten a hitter in one of the more recent Team Affinity drops. And you have to have gotten an old pitching captain, preferably a reliever. That can be a starter, but preferably a reliever. So that rules out like a ton of teams, right? Like last time I did this, Mariners were pretty good. You're not still running Richie Sexton at this point of the year. So unfortunately, it kind of limits just how many teams can be good. I think the way they've done captains this year is not the worst thing in the world. I still wish they would do like Madden theme teams where if a player ever played for that team, you could use them. I just wish they were a little more deliberate with giving out captains to each team. Like the fact that every team does not have a pitching and hitting captain at this point of the year is a little shambolic. So first team on the list, Dodgers. You can see in left field we've got Jose DePaula here. His stats are really nice. You can see from the Dodgers boost we're getting 6 contact right, 6 left, 6 batting clutch, a little bit of hits, and then 6 power. So everybody's getting +6 to every hitting attribute. So Jose DePaula here, 118, 107, 121, 98, 115. I think he's got pre-slept on swing. The defense isn't anything remarkable, but he's not terrible. Right field, we got the Big Show. Are his stats displaying correctly? They are. So 111, 108, 113, 125, 106. He's an absolute stud. Fielding is a little tough, but a lot of people are just running like Buxton or Acuna in right field at the moment anyway, so he's not that much of a drop-off compared to them. Moving on, first base, you know him well. Gil Hodges, 113, 113, 125, 118, 113. Good speed, good defense. If you've enjoyed Gil for the whole year, this is definitely the best way to go about using him. Still an absolute stud. Still arguably, the best first baseman in the game on this boost. He is a little more dated without running a theme team, but with running full Dodgers, he's an absolute stud. Second base, a little bit of a sleeper here. Alex Freeland. I feel like nobody's talked about this card. Switch hitter from one of the more recent tops now drops. 120, 120, 107, 93, 89. Decent speed, really good defense at second base. Kind of substitutes for it not having a great Mookie card. I think Mookie and Trout are probably the last 2 live series that desperately need a card. So until we get a Mookie, this is probably the best you're going to get on a Dodgers team. Could be a Red Sox Mookie. We'll just have to see. Corey Seager looks still pretty usable on this team. 115, 117, 111, 111, 101. Pretty decent defense. Obviously pretty slow. DH Freddie, the captain. 125, 125, 106, 92, 98. Honestly, if you just have more contact left, I'd have no gripes with this card, really. And then Will Smith, 125, everything contact-wise. And then 98, 115. And I think he actually gets some arm from one of the captains. So he'll have like 83 arm superfractored with catcher pop time. Not even a bad defensive catcher, if we're being honest. So pretty big fan of this team. You can see bench-wise, switch hitter, decent pinch hitter with Teoscar Hernandez, and then decent utility guy with Chris Taylor. How fitting for a Dodgers team. Pitching staff, got some pretty usable arms here. You got Kershaw. When you look at this Kershaw, super factored 121, 111, 114, 101. Just pretty much the best Kershaw we'll get all year. I think there's room for like a Cy Young or something like that. No hitter, perfect game, whatever, in the future with Kershaw. But this will be as good as that card will probably be. after you take into account the Dodgers team boost. So he looks like an absolute stud. If you've already enjoyed Kershaw, this is definitely the best way to use him. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You do kind of have to be a pitching savant to enjoy using him. You have to enjoy tunneling. You have to be on a difficulty where you can actually tunnel effectively and play players that are susceptible to being tunneled. So it's not 1-to-1. It's not awesome, but you look at the per nines, 123, 114, 81 walks. Decent enough card. Dustin May here, still usable, I'd say. I think he'll have 97 hits, and then his clutch will be relatively high after you add on, I think Trinan gives clutch. Trinan or Freddie, one of them gives clutch, one gives hits. So he's still usable. If you've got this card super fractured, if you had success with him earlier in the year, I don't see why he still can't be at least a serviceable 5-starter on a full Dodgers team. You got Blake Trinan, the captain, not a huge fan of. Brock Stewart, not a huge fan of. Wroblewski's all right. Gagne can be all right. And then Kopech is still arguably the most effective pitcher at his exact kind of tunneling, the exact look, the reason you bring him in the game. So I'm a pretty big fan of this theme team. It's not bad. It's not insane, because if you haven't noticed, you're hitting with what, 1, 2, 3, 4 lefties on this team. So, you know, in a game against like a John Don or just a really good lefty on a higher difficulty, you know, you might have all these guys go like a combined like 1 for 9 for the game. And that's not going to be a good recipe for your offense if all your lefties are striking out. So I think that definitely holds this team back a little bit. But if it's not an issue for you, Dodgers look like a pretty good team boost. All right, and at the 3 spot here, we have the Phillies. So you can see we're using Real Muto. Definitely a little bit dated. Maybe if you have him super fractured, he probably would be like a 94, 95 overall. So not the worst card in the world. And then we have a Wheeler, who, again, you probably prefer not to have a starter, especially when it's somebody like Wheeler. He's not super dominant. He has a pretty nice pitch mix, but the speed differentials aren't great. So it makes him kind of hard to use unless you're on a super high difficulty. And then the Phillies seem to be a good enough team to where their boost isn't anything crazy. It's only +6. So in left field here, we've got Bader. It is nice getting speed from Real Muto. You can see Bader turns into a good defensive left fielder that's kind of slow to a pretty fast one. So if you get him super factored, 95 speed with really good reaction, and he's always kind of got slept on swing. It's not the greatest swing in the world, but it's very comparable, in my opinion, to like a Hunter Renfroe, like one of those bulkier corner outfielders. So I don't mind him. Third base, we've got Scott Rowland. It is what it is with this card. Still don't love the swing, but his stats get even more, even better, to where it's harder to not want to go out of your way to run him, especially on this Phillies team. Rollins actually becomes worth his like 250, 300K price when you put him on this Phillies team. You're looking at max clutch, really good contacts, decent power right, and then really good power left with 99 speed and really good defense. So he is an absolute stud on this team. I think if you want to get the most out of Rollins, this is the way to go. And you can see they are split, so you do have to run both captains to give him more power. This could be a team that you would think about like not running the full team of, but then it's kind of tough because he doesn't need a ton of contact. He kind of needs the power boost. Second base, Chase Utley, 115, 121, 111, 101, 116. Great defense, decently fast. If you put some parallels on him, it'll actually be pretty quick at 83 speed. So not the worst card in the world. It's just you're gonna have to hit lefty with him. So that's kind of the downside. And you've already got Kyle Schwarber at DH over there. It's not ideal, but he's definitely a serviceable card as far as lefty swings go. To have to hit lefty with, not the worst in the world. Chase Utley always has a pretty nice swing. Dick Allen, you have a direct counter to having to hit lefty. 125, 117, 125, 104, 125. That's a lot of 125s. And I don't even have them super fractured. 89 speed, again, don't have them super fractured. And then the defense is okay. I like having decent amount of arm at first base just for turning the occasional double play. But it's not the end of the world. You could very easily put him in the right field or left field and do whatever you want. Catcher, Real Muto, definitely the weakest spot. Really good defensive catcher. Does not have like pop time or anything. and he's really fast, and that's pretty much the nicest thing you say about him. Usually has a pretty decent swing, but 100 on average of his hitting stats, and it's actually a little under that because of how bad the power right is. Not really where you want to be at this point of the year. Kyle Schwarber, perfection. He is just genuinely perfect. He even gets a little more usable in the outfield on this team. You put some parallels on him, 57 speed, definitely more usable than like the 48 that he usually has. So he's an absolute stud. Bench-wise, nothing to really talk about. Like, you got Nick Castellanos, absolutely mashes lefties. So for what that's worth, that's decent. Otto Kemp, 115, 103, 119, 80, 97, 98 speed. If he had like a catcher secondary, dude, he'd be a stud. And you could just pull Real Mito after like the 6th inning. Wouldn't be the worst thing. You could also just run him in right field. I kind of just have placeholder 99s throughout all of this. You don't like have to run Acuna, obviously. I just have him out there as like overall filler, because I don't want any of these squads to be lower in overall than the other, because that's not really the point of these lineups. Roy Halladay, I think he's usable. You kind of have to be on legend. He's not going to be great on any other difficulty. Getting more hits and more clutch and stuff definitely helps, but it's not anything insane. Christopher Sanchez, usable, not great. Definitely not great. 4-pitch pitcher. At least he has 4 useful pitches, so that's the upside of it. But he's not awesome. I think he will get a better card. I think he's pretty much a lock for getting a Phillies finest. I think the Phillies will get a couple finest this year. So that should be a pretty fun card, but nothing insane. Zach Wheeler, the captain, 116, 103. Again, I already kind of touched on it. Not the best speed differentials. Like, your biggest differentials on the sweeper, which you're not going to throw super routinely. It's more so that splitter, and it's a faster splitter, so it's just not a great pitch. You can say the same about Yamamoto on the Dodgers team, but it's just the best of the rest. Definitely pitching staff, not the strong point of the Phillies. You're more so running it for like Rollins and stuff like that. Yohan Duran, if you want to use this new card, he's awesome. This Billy Wagner's not great, doesn't have an outlier. This Matt Strahm is perfect on the Phillies team. And then I think Tanner Banks looks usable. I haven't seen him, but 5-pitch mix. Should just be like a Brooks Raley type lefty out of the bullpen. So not a bad team by any means with the Phillies. I think you could definitely run like tier 2 of this, assuming you like Utley, like Rollins, like Roland, like Schwarber. You could very easily just run like the tier 2 team and just not worry about the pitchers and stuff like that. All right, so here is our number 2 team, in my opinion, the Yankees. This is the team I was hinting at where I said they only have one captain, and it's Max Fried. I think he is a super serviceable, usable captain. I heard he throws like 98-mile-an-hour like sinkers and cutters occasionally after you get him super fractured, so that's nice. And then you just look at the team, and they don't really need that much of a boost. You look at Fried, he gives 6 power right, 6 power left. A lot of these Yankees cards, the issue is the power with them. They already have good contact. You look at Bernie, a card I would say is slightly probably overpriced at 140K, something like that. You give him 6 more power each side, he goes from a card with probably a little less power than what you'd want right now to pretty much perfect. Like, obviously you'd like 125 everything, but he's pretty much perfect here. So 125 everything contact wise, 101, 110, 113 vision if you care about vision like that. You give him 1 parallel, and he should be a gold fielder in left field. And then 80 speed with the potential to have 85 speed. He's a monster on this team. He's a pretty good card anyway, but you give him 6 power against both sides, I think he's just an absolute stud. I think it just changes the card. Especially if you get parallels. I think it might actually get him from being off of a contact hitter, especially against righties maybe, to being a balanced hitter, so you get better launch angles and stuff like that. Mickey Mantle, 112, 113, 125, 114, 91. If you guys have used this card, you know there's 2 issues with this Mickey card. The swing is not great, and he gets scammed a lot. Even though he has like every hitting quirk, he gets scammed a lot. So giving him 6 power against both sides, I think helps him out quite a bit. And you just also have a pretty good defensive outfield between these two. Right field, you got the captain. So it's showing his live series stats. So we'll just do this and use our imagination here. 111 power right, already has max out power left. So again, similar to Bernie, that probably takes him from being like a contact hitter against righties to a balanced hitter. So that's definitely better. And then, Aaron Judge just absolutely juiced to the gills with quirks. He has basically every hitting quirk in the game. So he's an absolute stud. We've got Belly, a very similar story to like Bernie and Mickey. Just really needs a little bit of power, just needs a nudge in the right direction. You superfractor this card, you're looking at just pretty good power. 96 plus 6 was that 102, 104? No, 105. So 105 power right. And then what, like 112, 113 power left. So he's an absolute stud. He looks insane on this boost. You could very easily, you add the boost to this Bellinger card and superfractor him. This is pretty much a finest Bellinger. He's perfect, for lack of a better term. Jazz here becomes a 121 power hitter. Maybe you don't want to run him. Maybe you want to scale back the boost, or just, I think it's a pretty easy boost to, we're 2 over the limit because of like bullpen pitchers and stuff. You could very easily just sub Jazz out if you don't want to deal with the defense. It's not the worst defense in the world at 80, but if you don't want to deal with it, completely understand that. Volpe, new card here, doesn't help him a ton. It gives him a little more power left, but it's nothing crazy. Again, might flip the switch from him being more of a contact focused guy to a balanced hitter. So that's nice. Does not help his defense at all, I don't believe. Yeah, it adds plate vision. So not the end of the world there. McMahon, similar story, helps him out a little bit against lefties, gives him a little more vision, opens up your timing windows by a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. This Ben Rice is supercharged for the next 23 hours, but like I said, we're over capped. So if you wanted to sub him out for anybody of your choice and then sub Jazz out, you're still at the max tier. Posada, this card on this boost is insane. You can see you superfractor him, 125 clutch, really good contact right, already has maxed out contact left. His power is insane, 123 right, 117 left on the boost, and he already has 100 vision. You add on the superfractors, 103, decent enough defensive catcher. He is an absolute stud. He's pretty much the best hitter in the game on the full tier Yankees boost. I think he's just a card that just needs a little nudge. He's already insane. Just give him a little nudge, and I think he'll take off and just be the best hitter in the game. Bench-wise, we've got Soriano, is what it is. Nobody here is really crazy. Like, Sheffield's all right. And then this Ahmed Rosario is a pretty good pinch hitter against left. If you had parallels on him, he would have even more power, and again, probably go to like being a balanced hitter. So I don't hate that card. CC Sabathia in the starting rotation and Max Fried, both very usable. And then if you want to get a little more adventurous, you can throw Andy Pettit in there. But I've heard bad reviews on him just because he doesn't have a changeup. I think, having the 12-6 instead of a changeup is a little troll, but you still have 4-seam, cutter, sinker, and it's a slower cutter. So I could still see him kind of cooking, but definitely not being dominant. Putting him on the Yankees boost would definitely help. And then the bullpen, this is kind of the shining star of this. You got Duvall if you're on a higher difficulty, or if you're just pub stomping. You have Andrew Miller, who's still really good. You have Loizaga, who's usable. Ottavino, who's some people think is still a really good option. And then you got Luke Weaver, who still has just insane hits. You can see max hits, max control, still has a pretty decent pitch mix. He was okay for me when I used him, nothing insane. So that is our number 2 team, the Yankees, absolute stud. And then here is our final team captain boost, the Mets. I think this is the easiest one to run. I think they just have the best cards in the game right now. You can see center field, the best card in the game, Beltran, 124, 122, 110, 113. He's insane on this. He's already insane, but it just gets even better. You got Cedric Mullins. If you already enjoyed Mullins cards, this is the way to run him. 117, 107, 123, 120, 109. And you can see I haven't touched him. I haven't put a single parallel on him. So if you like Mullins cards, this is the way to use him. You have this captain, Pete Alonso, 125, 121, 97, 112, 109. I will show you guys my preferred lineup at the very end, where I'm not using this exact Pete Alonso, but there's kind of a rationale to it. This Lindor is genuinely as good as like I don't think it was an NLCS card, right? Last year, it was just, I forget what round it was. I think it was NLDS. But this is pretty much that card. 109, 112, 110, 115, 104. You know, Lindor does not have to necessarily have the greatest stats in the world just because his quirks are really good. A lot of people really do good with his swing every year. So you add a little bit from the Mets. We can see exactly what we're getting here. 5 power right, 5 power left. So for whatever reason, SDS deemed like the Mets as being a weaker theme team, so you actually get better boost at a lower tier. And then I'm still running John Franco because, like I said, I think relief pitchers are a pretty inoffensive way to run theme teams. Then you got the captain at third base, David Wright, new card, 125, 123, 125, 107, 116. Bro's just ripping chase backs in the top right. 87 speed, basically a perfect fielder at third base. Absolute stud. If you enjoy his swing, this is the way to run David Wright. Bench wise, it's not terrible. Like you have Juan Soto, perfect pinch hitter against righties. Mark Vientos, not awesome. Another one. Brandon Nimmo, Jesse Winker. Starting staff, this is where the Mets boost kind of falls off because your only other options are like Pedro and Tom Seaver, who both just aren't going to be great. If you're on All-Star, I think you get some good life out of Pedro, so that'd be a very decent way to maybe bump up to like the tier 3 boost, or you know, be a little more meta with some of these selections. Probably kick out like David Wright, kick out Cedric Mullins, and get to tier 2 that way. And then bullpen wise, so you got Gregory Soto, John Franco, Ryan Helsley, and Tyler Rogers. You can also run like a Reed Garrett here just because he has 91 hits, and I believe the Mets boost does give a little bit of hits, so he would be at least usable. He's got 5-pitch mix. It's a decent mix. Speed differential isn't awesome. No outlier. But him and Rogers you could throw in here, but that would be more so for you stretching this team to like tier 3. So I think the Mets are the most not overpowered, because I don't know if running a theme team with the captain structure that we have in the game will ever be better than you just running the best cards at every position. But I think the Mets are definitely the top one. I think some other ones worth mentioning is like the Red Sox, but they're still kind of nerfed. SDS still has this perception of the Red Sox being like a super OP theme team for some reason, so they just missed out. And then, like I said, most other teams just did not have the exact criteria. They didn't have a recent hitting captain with an older like relief or starting pitcher to really benefit the most from the new captain system. And then here we have my exact lineup as of right now. So you can see we are not Mets hitting captain because I'm only tier 1. We are Mets pitching captain John Franco, just to help Pete out a little bit. It's like +3 contact, helps him out a little bit. Beltran is still basically a perfect card on this. You can see 122, 120. Are you really going to notice the 3 clutch and the 5 contact unless you're on Legend? Probably not. It still helps out Lindor if you want to run Lindor. And then Soto on the bench is still good. Leiter still goes up to a 99 overall and gets like +3 hits or whatever. And then it just helps all these bullpen arms out just a slight amount. I think a variation you could do on this, assuming you're pretty good with them. In theory, Max Fried is pretty much out Leiter, like pitch-wise and stuff. So we'll throw him in there. You can see I have Yankees in the starting lineup. So that's kind of the beauty of only doing a tier 1 boost, is you can just super easily come down here, go boosted by captain. The bench will definitely be better on the Yankees team. And maybe I would consider slotting like Mickey back in. You can see that is tier 1. Could probably get to tier 2 with enough bullpen pitchers. But that is going to give me 2 power and 2 plate vision for hitters. So Bernie gets a little bit better. Posada would get a little bit better. Probably wouldn't run Pete Alonso anymore. So maybe there's like a variation where you just run like Bellinger on first and then do something like this. Maybe you view Willie Castro and Derek Jeter as pretty similar, and you end up doing that. Let's see, what else could we do? CC wouldn't be really any worse than Johan probably, so we could definitely do that. And then you can just swap these Mets out for Yankees because they also have pretty good bullpen pitchers. I think the Mets are definitely better with like Soto and Ryan Helsley. I think they're just better guys in the pen. Swap him out for probably Loizaga. Weaver's not terrible either. Then that should be, yeah, that's tier 2 exactly. You can see that Bernie goes up to 99 power right, 108. So he's getting what, +4? +4 is not terrible. Will you ever notice +4? Probably not. I think +6 is more so where you'd want to be with the Yankees. But I think either one of these, the top 2 theme teams in the game, run to tier 1 or tier 2 with just, you know, the best cards in other spots that you don't want to run people from that team, is definitely the best way to construct your lineup. I think the best captains for pretty much the entire year have just been the captains that fit teams that have cards that you were going to use anyway, and it's like not that intrusive to use. Like if you really want to, you could switch back to Mets every time you're supposed to start Max Fried and just run a Mets team for 1 out of your 5 games, and then switch right back to Yankees if you really want to. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Let me know if you're running any theme teams. If there's any I missed, there might have been like one that would be decent. Like I thought of Cubs, but I think they only have hitting captains up until this point in the year, so that's really unfortunate for them. But other than that, till next time.